I think we are ready to continue the program, so please sit down. I hope you had a nice break and a coffee moment. Next in our seminar program, we will hear 2 examples of educational projects and activities in digitalization. First, I will give the floor to my colleague, Emmanuel Brugois. That was the correct way to say. He will tell us about Kivako project. Please go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Arguably, the pandemic has disrupted education all over the world, and it has tested. Yeah, hello. 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 Hello, hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Put the microphone a little bit down.
Hello.
Okay, get a little bit closer to the mouth. Upside down here. Right. And other way.
This way.
Yes. A little bit downwards.
Down. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. That's the mic. Just adjustable from there. Hello?
That's right.
All right. Now it works. It's going to fall anyway. Okay, so arguably the pandemic has disrupted education all over the world. Tested our competencies, unlocked our potential as teachers and learners, and pushed us out of our comfort zones. Before the pandemic had even started, Finland had these challenges of emergent trends in education and digitalization. We had in place systems to help teachers cope even before the digitalization started or before the pandemic issues started. And Kivako project is one of those projects that face the challenges of providing language path, different language paths to students in higher education in Finland. The project Kivako brought about 120 language professionals and 28 universities and universities of applied sciences together to develop languages that are really taught at schools to increase the possibility of students taking different languages. And when the project ended in 2021, then started the new network called KivaNet. Now, what is Kivako in a nutshell? So Kivako itself, in Finnish, it is called kielivannon vahvistaminen. What is the last one? Korkeakoulussa, yes. So that is like strengthening the language capital of universities, higher education universities in Finland. Now, why was this necessary at this time? It was because globalization and immigration itself is creating the need for different languages, so that English language alone is not enough as a requirement in these areas. So today my focus will be on Tandem, which is a sub-project of Kivako that relied on digital tools, relied on online application to match students in able to take languages that are really taught at our higher education institutions. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to share with you some of the experiences that we went through in creating this project. My name is Emmanuel, and you may call me Nana for short. And I will take about 25 minutes to go through this with you. And I have virtually also got the permission to extend it, if possible, to allow Q&A at the end of this presentation. So Kivako was at least one of the largest funded projects in Finland by Ministry of Education. By Ministry of Education and Culture, yeah. And this project brought together all the universities, not all, but most of them in Finland, about 28 universities and University of Applied Sciences. The aim, of course, was to create different learning tracks for higher education students to learn different languages. So the languages that are normally not available at our universities could also be found. Now, the materials and resources created were all licensed with Creative Commons licenses agreement, and then the materials produced were also shared in a common Moodle platform called DigiCampus. Now, Tandem was the application that matches students, and I'll tell you how it was created. The whole project had several languages, and out of those languages, our sub-project was the Tandem aspect of it, where we created this opportunity for students to be able to select different languages that are not mainly taught. So we have French, Russian, Swedish as the main, and then other languages like Estonian, Italian, Japanese that are not commonly found in some of our universities. So these languages were developed and made available through the platforms, the DigiCampus platforms. And of course, the Tandem provided also opportunities for students to learn these languages. The Tandem, in a nutshell, is a web application. And what it does is that it matches the students. The students visit the website and then sign up, and then find a partner, find someone who would like to learn or then be able to teach also his or her mother tongue. So it is something similar to Each One Teach One courses that most of us probably know, are familiar with. Tandem Learning, where two people interested in learning and teaching each other their languages and probably cultures as well. Now, how does the process go? The process is very simple. that you visit the Unitandem website, and then you find those languages that you want to learn or study, or the subject that you can teach. For example, French, you want to study French, but you can teach Chinese, and you find somebody who wants to learn Chinese and can teach you Finnish, for instance, or French, for instance, something like that. And then to complete the course, you need to do different tasks, which we put in called triggers. So the triggers give the students the guidelines, what they can do at different levels of their language skills. And 3 of those triggers will give you 1 credit. So a student earns a credit after completing 3 different credits, 3 different triggers in that case. Then how we evaluate. The student will have to collect the output of these triggers and then present them in a diary or in the diary form called portfolios, where they submit the portfolio, or in addition, write blocks of different activities that the student has engaged himself or herself during this time. So there are 3 steps to follow. Now, the triggers have also been developed according to the student's level of competence, like European level assessment, like from A1 to right down to C1 levels. So a student can pick the level of difficulty of these of the triggers. This is the website that was created, unitandem.fi. And the process of getting through this course is also very important. When you go to the site, there's a list somewhere that you can check whether the language you want to learn or teach is available over there. So then when you find it, okay, the language I want to learn is available, then you will register. When you register, then the algorithms created will pair you according to your preferences, language preferences, your language level preference. It will also use your location. That is, if you want to have a partner in Tampere or in Helsinki or somewhere else. So it can also use these algorithms. And after that, you have access to the learning platforms, which is the DigiCampus. You get access to it, you get into the DigiCampus, and then the process continues. And students can communicate and do the exercises, do the triggers, and then getting to the end of the course, then they will submit the triggers in a form of portfolio, what they have done out of these triggers. And then there's also the blog part that the student could also blog part. We included the blog part out of it so that teachers can follow as the student progresses during the studies. Now I'll tell you how this whole thing started, and which is quite interesting. When at the beginning of the project itself, we had the first IT students in Tampere, in our institution, TAMK here, and I thought, oh, brilliant! My students can start developing this application, and then it didn't happen. So we found a colleague at the main university, Tampere University, who is in charge of the IT department there teaching. So we got a group of students to start this. And this is the first design of the application. And we would go and say, wow, this is brilliant. Brilliant work. But then, because it's a semester, they finished the semester, they left the application as it is like that, and we said, okay, we'll find another student group to participate in this, to get these things done. And the next group came, couldn't figure it out. The whole summer, they couldn't figure out what to do, and then it ended. So then we had a third group. The third group came along and said, oh, come on, this is crap. We have to start all afresh. And they started afresh. We started programming afresh. And then at least we got a stable, kind of stable application with the third group. And then the fourth group came in and said, oh, there's a problem with this coding. We cannot continue using this. And so they also stripped that off entirely. Now we have the fourth group. The third group had a stable. We were happy because, like, hey, this thing works, but they are experts in it. So then they said no. Then we went to the fourth. We got a fourth group coming in, and the fourth group actually did the current website that we have right now, developed the application really well, but because of time limitation, then we needed a fifth group which actually put this into perspective and made all the corrections. So this is the website. This is how it looks like. You have the login over there, sign up, and then log in, and then go to DigiCampus. So if you've already signed up, then you can click the link, go to DigiCampus, where the materials and the triggers are that you can start learning. Now, this is how the application inside the application works. When you sign up, you sign up and then put in all the credentials, like you want to study French and you can teach German, for instance. I'm located in Tampere, or I'm in Vaasa or in Helsinki. It will then generate and give you the possibilities based on your preferences. So if you would like to study with somebody who can teach French and also in Tampere, then if that person exists in the system, then you can be matched with that person. And you can communicate, send the message to accept the proposal, the search, and then you can start then working together with your studies. This is how the DigiCampus Moodle platform looks like. We have the triggers laid out nicely in different language levels, level of difficulty, which a student can choose if it's a basic A1, B1, B2, or C1 levels. The student can choose a level. And then the subject they can discuss also is according to the level of difficulty. For instance, if you are A1 level, then possibly maybe numbers, colors, and then if you are B2, C1 levels, maybe discussing more of economic aspect of things, go in more detail. Now, this is just a table of some of the triggers that we have on our team developed, and it's on DigiCampus where students can access. So they are actually put nicely on the table to have the different levels, and then from different levels, different subject areas that you can choose and discuss. Now, this is the team we started with, and that's the team we ended up with. So the team changed over time. The first meeting, we had a lot of people interested, and then in the end, we end up with new ones also joining, and some old people, old members also leaving the group. All right, so I think that I will end it here and invite questions. Yes.
Hello, Leo from Austria, speaking broken English. and a good probably candidate for your courses. I was just wondering why the enrollments are limited to a certain period. I found it on your slides.
The enrollment period.
Yeah, it was limited to some time in August to September.
Yes, we have, let's say, 2 semesters starting in August. So we have enrollment from August, and then the period will end in let's say, December. And then in the spring term, we have starting the enrollment starting in, let's say, January, beginning first week or first 2 weeks in January, and then ending in May, for instance, or the course ending in May. So enrollments are every semester, first semester in the autumn term, and then the second in the spring term. I think the reason is the resources. The teachers or the coordinators for these courses will change. And then also, it might also change, the host university might also change. There are about 28 university and university of applied sciences. So we have thought of rotating the coordinating of these courses. And I believe that is the reason, because of the resources.
I have another question. My name is Manon. I'm from the Amsterdam International Business School. Congratulations with this wonderful project. I love it. We are at the moment looking on ways on how to integrate or have the international students that we have in our school. It's about 40% of our students are international from abroad, to have them more engaged in the language classes. So this is something that we could really use. And I was wondering, can we somehow participate? Because I see this is only for TAMK students, or are you also looking for other universities to join this project?
That's a very good question. At the moment, the registration is limited to the university community in Finland. So you cannot register from outside. If you use Gmail or something, it will not recognize you. So it will not allow you to enroll. That is the short answer. Like, it's currently it's impossible to allow students from outside.
Okay, thank you. Can I buy it then? Or let's make it possible.
It's an open source, so I think that we can.
Well, thank you for your answer. Yeah. Okay, let's continue the conversation later. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nana. My name is Anna-Maria, and I'm from TAMK. So I'm hearing about this project for the first time. Now, we already heard that, okay, this is there is a need for this type of application and program elsewhere. So I have basically 2 questions for you. The sustainability of this app, because I know that even the Ministry of Education and Culture, they would love to see this to be scaled up at the European level. So have you thought about it, the exit strategy from the project? And then secondly, I need to ask, because here I believe all of us, one of our goals is internationalization of education, as well as the RDI projects. And for that, our staff would need even the basic skills in the languages that are not widely taught at our universities. Like we are collaborating with China, we are collaborating with a lot of countries in Africa and so forth, so that we would be able to break the ice, at least the basic level of local languages. So is there a plan to develop something similar for the staff?
I will not be able to answer this question, but we have now the KivaNet. The idea of the KivaNet is to continue the work that was done, or maintain the work that was done during the KivaCo period. The is, I think I'm probably sure that there is some sort of code behind it that if you are not a student, you cannot actually sign up for this course. And the sustainability of this is in question as well, as to it all comes down to finance. And if there is, of course, finance, we can still get students to develop, open the coding and add few codes to it so that it will allow, let's say, the teaching staff, for instance, to join, or it will allow outside students with permission to use the system in learning different languages.
So
yeah.
a fantastic Erasmus Plus project idea.
Okay. Henry probably will add something before then Nick.
Thank you. So I'm there in the picture. I've been working with Nana in this project, so I would like to add that both of these ideas that you presented, that okay, can it be opened up to the international community, other countries, and can it be used in training the staff members as well? I think both of these ideas were discussed when we were developing this, but the idea was that first, let's test it out with the students, see how it goes, develop it so that it's actually a smooth thing, it works. And then after that, we will have to see how we can expand the possibilities, because I think that this mode of learning that, let's have a pair that, we can teach each other our own languages. I think that there's a lot of potential there that has not been utilized well enough so far. So these are still open questions, and we'll definitely consider them in the future. And the project management, I think that they're still thinking about these. So
Yeah.
just to add.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick.
So Nana and Henry, thank you for sharing this. I think this is really a fantastic project. I think going with what Manon was saying too. This is Nick from Munich, by the way. So we actually had, before Corona, we had quite a lot of these tandem projects, but they're in person. And because they're not, you couldn't get credits with them. So, usually they would meet a couple of times and then they would just die out. So I think this is a much better way of doing it. I just have a couple of short questions. So you mentioned that they have to get, if they accomplish one trigger, they would get 1 credit. And 3 would get 3 ECTS.
Yeah, 3 credits, 3 triggers, 1 credit. Yeah.
3 trigger, 1 credit. Okay.
Yeah.
Has it had to be done within 1 term, 1 semester, or do they have time to do it throughout
Actually, you have a maximum of 5 credits within the semester.
So they can do as many as they want?
Yeah. Within the semester, you can study 5 credits, for between 1 and 5 credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if when there is the Unitandem, is it an independent thing, or is it embedded in a language course? Meaning, you have a course where they have contact hours, and then they do this on the side.
That's a brilliant question. I think this is something that you can a language teacher can use this as a supportive platform for the students. And I think about 2-3 weeks ago we had some teachers from other universities interested in using Unitandem in their teaching. So that's also a possibility.
And if they say the students here, they have to complete a certain language program, what would be the percentage of the Unitandem? So if they can do, say, 5 ECTS, what would be the percentage of that of the entire language ECTS they have to get?
That would depend on the teacher. That would depend on the teacher who is who wants to use Unitandem as part of his
okay.
or her
So that's flexible.
teaching. Yeah.
Thanks.
My name is Philip. I am a non-teaching staff member at The Hague University and also a former international student there. Just going back to my colleague from Amsterdam, what she mentioned, I think this is just a wonderful idea. But I do also believe that there is a lack of funding from the Dutch government for these type of projects. And I think that's mainly due to the very different socio-economical situation in the Netherlands compared to the one here in Finland. So that was just an add-on of what was said here before. But my question is, is this something that is given from students to students, or is it specifically staff members to students? Like, what is the construction exactly? Because in The Hague University, we have a program called the Buddy Program, which is also worth 1 or 2 credits, but that is only for students helping other students with, I don't know, French, English, German, Dutch, but it's a very non-compulsory, you know, extracurricular sort of activity.
Yeah, this is like each one teach one. So this is like students. No teacher is involved. We only coordinate that the students get registered, has done the triggers and checked whether he has done 3 triggers to 1 credit or 6 triggers to 2 credits. Those things, and we go through the portfolio or then the blog to see what the student has done, and then give the, so it's students.
Okay, that's clear, thank you.
Okay, great. Let's give a big hand to Nana.
Thank you.
Then another project in the field of digital clinic. We have here 2 colleagues, Miss Nina Smolander and Miss Ilona Ylhäsalo. They are senior lecturers at School of Social Services and Healthcare here at TAMK, and they have something interesting to tell us about their approach towards digitalization. The floor is yours.
So thank you all also from my behalf, and welcome to our last presentation before the closing and summary of our session here today. I hope you can hear my voice well. And I just want to introduce my colleague here. Ilona Ylhäsalo is presenting today with me, so also one of the senior lecturers in Department of Nursing. And my name is Nina Smolander. So we started today with an excellent keynote speaker. And when he said that technology is power, it really triggered something in me. When we combine technology and digitalization into a healthcare, can we then say it's a superpower already? When you think about the health issues, when you think about any harm in your health, it will rise feelings, it will rise emotions in you. And when we give power to professional healthcare workers to deal with people's health using digitalization, using remote online tools or different softwares and applications, we also give them power to deal with the citizens' health. And we have an initial group of 5 teachers who wanted to really tackle with this issue. We wanted to provide our students more skills and knowledge and competence when they deal with technology and digitalization in healthcare. When they have the power and understanding how it can be used for the benefit of the patients, they can coach the patients to use digitalization in healthcare properly, and this way they can also generate better care. They can help people to look after themselves even better. So in that sense, I think we are dealing with some very sensitive issues here when we think about the digitalization and superpowers in the field of healthcare. So what did we want to do? And how did we all start it? We wanted to provide something future-proof for our nursing students and combine the students from medical field and nursing field. So we created a multi-professional digital clinic, a training day, and when we thought about it, we already knew based on our needs analysis that there is a lack of combined education in this field. But how it ignited was when one of our students was actually in her clinical placement. And the doctor in this same establishment recognized her competency and expertise in the field of online care and started talking with her. And this was the first time they heard about one of our optional professional studies called Nursing in Modern Primary Healthcare, where we are really dealing with these issues. We want to give future-proof knowledge, future-proof competence for our students. And as they say, this student was presenting what she knows, how she can do it in quite an advanced level already. And she provided one of our colleagues contact information, and two minds thinking alike, this doctor in this clinical placement contacted our colleague, and as they say, the rest is history. So we started planning something new together, and this was in April last year. So the planning phase was started by two doctors from the Faculty of Medicine in Tampere University, where they work as a clinical instructors, and three of our nursing teachers. And we also were able to collaborate with some of the business partners around Tampere region. So we had electronic service of healthcare called Omaolo, which was provided by DigiFinland, and also Video Visit, which is a remote healthcare platform, including also remote diagnostics. And then one of our local business partners from Tampere University called Hoituki, which is sort of an assessment tool when we are assessing the need for care. So we were really lucky that we were able to get such an amazing collaboration around us. And like mentioned earlier here, something new will only start when you have the courage to step outside of the box. And I think we found 5 different people who were also interested to do so, us teachers who planned this thing. And we really took the jump into a deep end, because we still have the desire to go and look outside of the box. So we took our students with us, and the first implementation was in August last year. So nursing and medical students, they really did study together. This was our idea. We don't let them be in their own separate groups, but we will mix them. So we had 38 nursing students from our Nursing in Modern Primary Healthcare studies, and these 38 students, they attending all of our sessions last autumn, and 70 students, medical students from their clinical general medicine course. So total over 100 students had the opportunity to participate. And what was our aim? Of course, we wanted to give them more knowledge about digital solutions which can be used in primary healthcare, and also how they can use them in a purposeful way, how they can consult in and between different practices, and how they can really use the multidisciplinary team in healthcare setting as well as possible. And also utilizing different solutions, healthcare solutions. And those of you who are not so familiar with the Finnish healthcare system, we do have a quite a wide range of different online solutions on different online and remote options for our healthcare services. And this also gave our students the ability to support the continuity of care through digitalization, through digital and online solutions. So we wanted to give and use the flipped learning principles here, because based on the needs analysis, we did know that our nursing student had a more comprehensive overview and knowledge about the basics of the topics, and therefore we wanted our medical doctors also to be fully prepared so that they would at least have the basic understanding of the topics they would participate in. And we had, of course, we divided them in mixed groups so that we would really give them already during their studies an opportunity to exchange their ideas, get to know each other, and share their expertise so that we were more and better equipped when they enter the working life. We introduced different health services which are changing in Finland in quite a fast way. We have a health village service which can be utilized in education, which can be utilized by the citizens of Finland. And of course, the collaborations what we have with 3 different business partners, those were included in our pre-task materials, pre-reading materials. And one sort of like a unique feature what we have in Finland, a unique environment what we have, is called Kanta, where every Finnish people can enter and their health records, their health information, and their, let's say, your lab results, your prescriptions, everything can be found here. So this is one way of providing a very high quality continuity of care. So this was, of course, discussed in this course as well. And the aim of, in many ways, to provide more possibilities to access the healthcare system is to improve the self-care of the patient so that they can be more empowered and more knowledgeable about their own conditions. So this really is one of those like a core topics we wanted to address with our students, and of course to get feedback from our courses. And we were in a nice position in a way that our students, they did fill in the feedback form after each session, and we were able to react on their feedback. So we could develop our program, our schedule on the go before the next training day. We're running 3 different workshops, utilizing these 3 business collaborators and their tools and their software. And each mixed student group were visiting these 3 workshops one by one. And after the first session we had, our medical students especially, they were so enthusiastic about the technological gadgets we had in this remote diagnostic toolkit that they asked us, can we please have some more time to just play with the gadgets first? So that was sort of like a little bit of a surprise for us, but understandable because our nursing students were already familiar with the tools. So we did provide them also like a hands-on, practical, get to know the toolkits before they started working with it. So video visit is one of the tools used quite widely here in this region, and it is a remote care platform and including remote diagnostics. So you can use this tool and this software to have a secure online appointment with your doctor. You can use it for consultations, for instance. So when you go to your nursing practice nurse appointment, and they have the assessment and they need to consult, for instance, the doctor somewhere in Lapland, it can be done. So the doctor can be in Lapland and your patient is here in the southern Finland. And this is changing also the way of nursing here, a way of care, how we provide care. So we don't only have an appointment with in between patient and nurse or patient and doctor, we have like a trio. So in the same appointment, you will have the patient, you will have the nurse, and you will have the doctor as well. So it will change the dynamics, and it will also increase the transparency of what we are doing in healthcare and related to the patient care and treatment. And in this video visit toolkit, there is a diagnostic camera with different lenses. So you can investigate the patient's ears. It's really great. The cameras are very high quality, and the image what you see here, it's transferred into a laptop of that doctor who is maybe in Lapland. So he will see even a larger picture of the same what you can see in this picture here. And it does have a very high quality skin camera as well. So this is a mold of 2 or 3 millimeters. So just imagine how much time this can save to any citizen if they go and see a nurse who can consult right away what they should do when the doctor is, for instance, in Lapland. So it is changing the way we can provide services. And it also has a remote stethoscope, which a nurse will listen to the patient's heart, their lungs, their pulse sounds, and the sound will be transferred to the computer of the doctor. So all of these were sort of like quite new things for many of our students, especially for our medical students, and you can only imagine when you've been exposed to something like this, it will raise questions and it will get your mind running really. And then let's hear about a little more about the 2 other workshops we had.
Yes, can you hear me okay? Yeah, I will tell you about Hoituki, which is a digital care support platform which provides tools for assessing the need and urgency of treatment and making treatment plans. Also, in Hoituki, all information relevant to the healthcare professionals can be found up to date and easily in one place and under the right context, as you can see maybe here. So Hoituki also speeds up the documentation by nurses and doctors. The service also includes ready-made instructional materials to be distributed to customers also. For example, if the customer has a urinary tract infection symptoms, as you can see, the digital care support platform Hoituki provides straight questions for the nurse to ask, and you can copy-paste all of these questions you ask, and copy-paste them to the patient information system from the Hoituki. So it saves time. Yeah. Then about Omaolo, which Nina mentioned earlier. Omaolo is an electronic service and service channel also for health and social care. It has been available since February 2019, and it provides health and social services quickly, without barriers, free of charge, and 24 hours a day. So it was this training environment was provided for the MDC pilot from DigiFinland, so that was very nice. We got to train a lot of things. You can show the next. In here, for example, this is the screenshot from Omaolo test environment that we will able to use. And so DigiFinland created a training environment for this pilot, and this includes, for example, here you can see the symptom assessment training, and for example, the students got to understand the urgency of care and symptom summary utilization in documentation, and things like these. Yeah.
So previously we heard about how education is relational. And in a way it's funny that we were teaching and training about technology and digital tools and online solutions, but we were face to face. Of course, one group was in a different room when they trained the video visit appointment, but in a way it provided us an opportunity to get feedback from our participants in a very honest way. Because they were able to show their feelings, and that is also really important, how they felt about using these things. And all 5 of us, we are not trying to say that technology and digitalization in healthcare is going to replace something altogether. It's something we will blend in. It's not suitable for every single thing. And like discussed, for instance, in the panel, we need to know how to balance our use of technology, our use of digitalization, and especially in healthcare, it's extremely important so that the patients still feel that they get the treatment, they get the care they need, and they are being heard and met. We asked, of course, our participants, all of our students, how they felt about the MDC intervention, and the most amount of praise and thank yous we got was from studying together. This is something that many students have been longing for, to mix and integrate nursing students and medical students so that they can, from the beginning of the studies, already exchange ideas and learn from each other. And I think this was really something extraordinary we all felt. And of course, after this day, they felt that they realized what is the meaning of these digital healthcare services we have at the moment. How can they be utilized and how can they be developed further? And students also felt that they received some useful tools for their future work when they are in clinical placements. And one of our core goals was also to emphasize the customer-centeredness in providing different digital and online services, which can really be an asset for service providers. And when you can choose the way you access to healthcare, it might have a great value for the citizen as well. And this is not the smallest part of our intervention at all, because we really felt that as teachers we learned tremendously from each other. It was a very valuable experience for us, and we really want to continue by developing this intervention further. And this is directly from one of our students, that she really felt that by some miracle almost, she became a developer of these services over one day. Well, very potential student, I might say. And we really want to express our gratitude that we were able to collaborate with the business partners we had. Without that, it wouldn't be possible at all. And maybe the cherry on top of the cake was this one feedback from a student who said that she thought that what we did in an MDC session was really that kind of studying in a high quality university education should have, so that it can be open-minded as well as experimental. I must say we did experience some technical difficulties. So some frustration with the connections and some frustration with the different gadgets were also present. So it was not all roses either, like always when you experiment something. And the student especially felt that when you can apply something which is done in a multidisciplinary way, you gain a lot of confidence, as well as you gain a lot of competence to your future So we want to thank you for your attention, of course, and hopefully you enjoyed about hearing our multidisciplinary digital clinic intervention, which is ongoing at the moment. So it wasn't just a project of 6 months or 1 year, but we will continue, and it's integrated into our curriculum activities. So thank you from our behind.
Thanks.
Questions, anyone?
I'm impressed by these digital health care services in Finland, but I just wonder, how do elder people can get along with these new technologies?
Yeah.
And I think they are the ones who need mostly
a very good question. Yeah, a very good question. And of course, the elder people, they might have challenges quite a bit, but also we can provide assistance, and when the healthcare professionals are competent enough, they can also provide assistance to the elderly people. And like mentioned, this is not the only way, of course. So this is one option for accessing the healthcare. So it's not like we are abandoning face-to-face appointments.
Getting in shape.
Thank you. Thanks for a really interesting and really important project that you were explaining there. You said at the beginning about the idea of a superpower, if you combine the technology with people. And actually, I think that's a really vital point out of this morning as well. This combination of people and technology, it can be even more powerful. On a really personal note, and I'm kind of a bit hesitant to go here, but I will. I mean, I spent most of last year actually facing off cancer, and the healthcare system I got in Finland was outstanding. Thank you, Finland. I basically owe you my life. And a lot of great digital tools helped in the diagnosis and treatment of that. But when there's not people involved, I think it can go wrong. And if I could just share, it's not data, it's an anecdote, it's a lived experience. But it's one that causes a conflicting feeling with me. I used a commercial company using some money I get from TAMK for well-being to have a series of blood tests done. I won't mention the name of the platform. But basically you go for a blood test and then you get an email with like a platform showing like green and red for your results. And that's the good thing is, that was how I discovered I had cancer. So that's great, because if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't, I might not be talking to you this morning. But the bad part of it, there wasn't a human involved. So I want you to imagine I'm sitting, here's my results. And I hit the app, and there, on one of the things, is red. And I think, woo, what's that? And then I Google, because you do, and you think, well, I won't use expletives, but you can imagine the expletive. There's a very good chance this is cancer. And that's when the human part was so missing. Because really that needed, in my view anyway, and I am one of the older ones, I'm in my 60s. So that was one of the moments when you needed the superpower of somebody to explain to me what that meant. Now that came later. The trouble with this app was it was a commercial app. So kind of companies think it's just okay to give you a platform, to give you a dashboard. It wasn't okay. If you can imagine that feeling, it really wasn't. So I think this is great, but the superpower is please keep the people in this as well. Thank you.
Well, this is what we are trying to do. I mean, the technology itself, or the commercial platform of providing services that you can get your lab results, that's just a number, and it can really scare you. It can throw you off the track if there's no professionals to take care of you, to explain these things. And there, we introduced to healthcare professionals utilizing and using the digitalized and online healthcare systems. So without a competent healthcare professionals integrated into the system and having the interaction and possibilities to actually discuss or ask somebody when you get frightening results, it's a monumental value here, and they should never ever be sort of excluded. It's not just using the gadget, but using the gadget in relations with people.
Yeah, I think people are important, like in all these type of pilots and projects, like it's the people you work with. Because if you have the certain type of people around you, things will happen. So like if there's a will, there's a way. And so I think people are important. They are always important. And we had a great crew here in this pilot, and things happened. So that's great and important. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we are in the final stage now. Big applause to you first. Which is the conclusion part and the end of the seminar. But before that, I want to remind those who are coming this evening to the evening program at Paidia, which is at the Nokia Arena, be on time and be there. I want to see you all there, and we can continue the discussions that we started during the seminar. But now the final words are given to Ms. Anne-Maria Mäkelä, and she's from the Research and Development and Innovation Unit from TAMK, and she will conclude what is heard today. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Kirsi. First of all, I would like to thank all the organizers, all the presenters, and all the participants for this active seminar discussion earlier today. So as Kirsi mentioned, I'm coming from the external funding team of TAMK. And when I was earlier saying that I heard about the Kivako project for the first time, I need to explain why. Because I joined TAMK only last year in August. So I've been in-house for roughly half a year. Here in TAMK, we implement between 170 to 200 projects. And that's why that explains why I don't know all the details of all possible projects. But now, coming back to the conclusions, I'm almost ashamed of referring to the narratives of the European Union after Mark's keynote presentation. But since I'm representing the external funding team, and our role is basically to support our researchers to write applications for European Union. And we all know that we need to refer to the narratives of the policies and strategies. So here we have been talking about the digitalization in higher education. And European Union is following the progress of digitalization throughout Europe. And they are conducting this study, the Digital Economy and Society Index study, every year. So here you can see where the different countries and member states of European Union are currently in this spectrum. So we have the European Union average level in the middle, and then mostly the northern countries are the forerunners, and then we have countries that are still coming up the ladders of digitalization in different aspects. The Commission has also set up the Digital Compass by 2030. And here I would highlight the important role of higher education, not only education within the premises of our institutions, but as a lifelong learner educators. So we also need to keep up the education of our small and medium-sized enterprises in Europe. We need to scale up the skills of technology of our citizens, but especially then the graduates who will be employed mostly by the small and medium-sized enterprises. The EU has also set the policy context for digital education action plan. And here we have been already talking about a lot on quality, equality, the inclusiveness that the digitalization also provides for education. But I would also like to point out the enhancing the competencies of our own staff. The technological development is so fast, so that how can we guarantee that our staff, they can keep up with the new technology and teach the students to use the technology in their future professional life. Our president referred to the top 10 skills of by the World Economic Forum. And here, I think what Mark was highlighting, the analytical and critical thinking is one of the key points. So we need to be able to educate the younger generation to be critical. That's why I'm referring a lot to Mark's points on perverse or metaverse. So critical thinking, the future is up to us. Here today, nobody has actually asked what all the digitalization and the digitalization targets, what do they require? Do we have the rare raw materials to actually achieve the goals of European digitalization, whether it's in education or whether it's in industry? I've had a lot of discussions with the professors of chemistry who say that actually that's a bottleneck, the rare raw materials to do all the digitalization in Europe. And that also brings us to the question of the political powers. So the countries that do have these rare raw materials needed for the digitalization, what will their power be in the future? We had a very interesting and lively panel discussion about the digitalization, the pros and cons of it, the internationalization, the opportunities it provides, the networking and co-learning. But also what makes it makes it easier, but feels harder. I very much refer again to Mark's comments on it makes it harder. But then Sohvi also raised the question of the human, the soft side of things, of learning and educating, which is of importance. And then we had these few very good project examples, and I'm hoping that these days here in TAMK and in Tampere, they have already given a lot of thought for future collaboration opportunities, especially in different types of projects. You are following different tracks, but from the external funding team, we would like to invite you to our launch, which is just outside of this hall, to have discussions with our team members about the different types of research and development projects that we are currently conducting. What are the opportunities in the short-term future for funding, and how we could collaborate and assist both your teams and our teams to apply funds for future projects. So please visit the RDI launch. We will be there between 1 and 3 o'clock this afternoon, so you will have plenty of time to have more detailed discussions about our RDI. I hope you have enjoyed the seminar and will continue the active participation during the track sessions. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for all the presenters, for all of you who made this seminar a special one. And like Anne-Maria said, there is a lounge open for discussions now, so please go ahead and move there, and let's continue today, and also the evening program is waiting for us. So thank you for participating a lot.
Where can I find my participation, my attendance certificate?
Yeah, I will go to the office. I will, if you can come with me.
Okay. I want to give you work, or I can get it later.
Yeah, because I think